Hey, I'm going to share with you now my 3 top fat burning cheat principles. Alright, so now before we go into those 3 principles, I have to lay a foundation for you because the foundation needs to be set before we can actually implement the principles. And that foundation is what I refer to as getting your body into a depleted state. Now, by depleted state, basically I mean decreasing carbohydrate intake, increasing your activity so your body is able to now burn through more of the glycogen, which is a form of stored carbohydrates in the body, burn through more and more and more of that. After your body gets your glycogen levels very, very low, relatively speaking, then these 3 principles will become more effectively used and allow you to have a little bit more wiggle room and quote unquote cheat on your diet and still enhance your fat burning. Okay? So that's the foundation. Into the very first one. The very first fat burning cheat principle is this. Regardless of what it is, you have to make sure that you don't eat until you're past 70% full. Now, this requires you to know your body very well, or better than most. And basically, at no point in time do you want to be full. You want the food sitting heavy in your stomach. And that's a general rule for fat burning in general. But even more importantly, when you're having that off food, whatever it is, you don't want to get to the point in time where you feel as though the food is just sitting there heavy and not processing through. So, for example, I know for myself that if I'm in my flow of my diet, and say we have pizza here with the family, my cutoff is 2 slices. I've learned that I can have 2 slices at my regular meal time. Say we're eating out for lunch, I can have those 2 slices. But if I have that 3rd slice, by the time my next meal time comes at 3 o'clock, I'm not hungry at all. I'm not really hungry again until about 5:30, 6 o'clock, which isn't good because I want to keep my meals consistent. I want to keep my rhythm going, but I also want to enjoy certain things off my diet. Cool. So I have it at a time in which I know my body's able to process it, but I know how much I need to have. 2 slices is my limit on pizza, for example. I love me a good pepperoni sausage pizza. It's a beautiful thing. That was number 1, not eating past 70% full. Now, the second principle is making sure that the snacks you have that are off your diet, I make sure that they have 5 or less ingredients. Okay? I know there's so many options now where there's chips, where there's popcorn, where there's ice cream. I make it a point to make sure that that off thing has 5 ingredients or less. So I want them to be as quality as possible, but still taste really good at the same time. So I've gone through a lot of trial and error to figure out different things and to find the things that work well for me. And one of my perfect examples is Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Haagen-Dazs strawberry is my favorite. But if you look at the back of the label, there's 5 ingredients or less. There's some chips I get from Costco. Again, 5 ingredients or less. The popcorn I use, 5 ingredients or less. So I still get to have the variety, but I still also minimize the excess junk. Now remember, all those additional ingredients on that list become additional variables that are now entered into your body that your body has to process through. And if you're trying to maximize your fat burning, you want to minimize the additional work your body has to do and just keep things as simple as possible, but you still want to be able to enjoy the snack. You with me? So, that's the second one. Making sure it's 5 ingredients or less. Okay? You have some homework to figure out what those are for you, but it's well worth it. Now, the final part that ties it all together is making sure, or having that cheat, basically, that all food timed right after a big muscle group training session. I learned years back, I got into the habit years back, but if I'm choosing to have something off, most times you'll find me having it off on a Sunday. I normally train legs on a Sunday. And years ago, in one of my preps, actually the prep when I first, in 2015, I started doing this. I would buy my hoagie from Wawa, an Italian hoagie. I love an Italian hoagie. Lettuce, I could do it with or without the tomatoes, extra mayo, and I'm good right there. And I buy that before I go into the gym, so I got some time to sit. I want the mayo to sit into the bread a little bit. It tastes better that way. Anyway, so but after a leg session, I would get to enjoy the hoagie if I had great results on that day. So I also make it like a reward for myself. And that gave me more incentive to train harder during the week, of course, get better results. However, I always timed those all foods at a time period where my metabolism is at its highest for the most part. So again, have that all food at the point in time where your metabolism is its highest, which inherently most times is right post-workout, right after you finish from the gym. Have that cheap food. Your body can torch through it so much better, so much faster and effectively. So those are 3 of my top fat burning cheats that I use, and there's more to come.